Hear ye, ye old Tommy here, bringing you ye old Black and White 1 gameplay against IHeartWalrus, and I have no idea how long this has been sitting in my folder, but I do know that it is a good game, and I do know that I probably should have used it by now. I guess the fact that it's nearly 13 minutes probably put me off a little bit. But here we go. Pretty interesting match, and you can tell it's old just because, for a start, it has Matang in it, and I think Matang at the time was PU, and then it got moved up to RU. I don't know where it is right now. It might have moved back down for all I know, but yeah, he leads with Persian. I lead with my Wormadam here. Now, Wormadam really is not going to take anything from Persian unless it happens to be some weird special set with like Nasty Plot, HP Fire, that kind of stuff. Not too common, let me tell you. So he goes for the fake out, followed by U-turn, and that is fine. Gets out of there. Now, interestingly, he probably did more damage to himself with the Life Orb recall than he did to me, because Wormadam is not taking any crap from Persian. No, 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 no. However, Torkoal comes in. Wormadam does not appreciate the fire move, so I'm going to switch out. Go into Tentacool. I think Tentacool... I can't remember if Tentacool survives this battle or not. Actually, I can't remember if I win this battle or not. But nonetheless, Tentacool is the guy who you all know and love, who always dies. He never lives, ever, till the end of the game. We'll soon see, right? So he goes for rocks. I have Rapid Spin, that's not too big a deal, but he does get the burn, which is quite unfortunate. Now, interestingly, next turn I go for the knockoff, and it shows me that he does have the Chesto Berry. So, you know, naturally that kind of implies that he has the rest. So, at some point he's going to try and rest off, which is probably why he's staying in here, not really too worried about the poison racking up. So I go for Rapid Spin, just to get him out of the way, that's fine. The burn was unfortunate, but given the number of lava plumes he's going for, he would have got it eventually anyway, so not too big a deal. Now I'm going to switch out on this turn. I go into my Liepard, probably half expecting the rest on this turn and not another lava plume. But even if he did go for lava plume, it wouldn't do too much. The unfortunate thing is he does get the burn on this lava plume, and that is definitely not going to be good for me. So I think on this turn I just go for a sub because I predict the rest on this turn, or a switch out. I think actually he ends up going for a Rapid Spin just to get rid of my rocks, which is fair enough. Now I'll take the damage, and actually, do I have rocks up? I thought we already spanned them away. Okay, if I did already have them spun away, I have no idea why he would have gone for Rapid Spin there, but nonetheless, my plan was to basically stall him until he goes for rest and then go for Encore. But because he went for Rapid Spin, my friends, I can Encore him into that. Still doesn't break my sub, and now he's going to die to poison because he can't get off or rest. That's fine. Torkoal is now out of the way for good. Now, unfortunately, I do have the burn on here, which is definitely not going to be good for me in the long run. Vinny has, what, 2 or 3 turns left. So, most people will tell you not to waste a sub, but I know that Matang does like to carry Hone Claws from time to time, and I was kind of worried about that. So I thought, okay, switch into Cherrim, and from here I can hopefully go for, you know, Leech Seed, sub, all that kind of stuff. This is a really weird Cherrim. It's like a max HP, max speed kind of thing, and it has sub, toxic, Leech Seed, and one final move, which I'll show you in a sec. Now, the only reason I chose Cherrim is because of that one final move. I don't even know why Cherrim learns it. I guess it sort of fits the description, but not kind of what you'd expect from Cherrim. So I go for sub on this turn. In comes the Persian, and, you know, obviously Persian's going to do a lot of damage to me. I was very tempted to go for Toxic here, but I thought I would rather get off my Healing Wish this turn and pass it off to my Liepard, as opposed to, you know, risking not being able to live a Persian attack, which I probably wouldn't. A U-turn would definitely kill from there. So I Healing Wish up, pass it off to my Liepard, and get rid of that burn, get him back up to full again, which is very good indeed. Now I think next turn I do make a pretty stupid play in that Persian actually has higher base speed than Liepard, and I guess for whatever reason this Persian doesn't have max speed, or maybe it's adamant nature, which is fair enough. But it goes for U-turn. Like I said, I do just about outspeed and go for a foul play. which brings him down to a range where if I can get rocks up again, that will take him out, so that's great, that's something to bear in mind. Now in comes the Metang. I know that he has the bullet punch, and I do not have the prankster ability on this guy. So I'm going to switch out, go into Gothitelle, my old favourite, who has recently been moved up to borderline because of its new shadow tag ability, which is understandable why you'd move it up. I mean, can you imagine Gothitelle with shadow tag at this time, where you could stay in against something like, I don't know, something like Alamomola, and if you had like Calm Mind, Rest, you would set up to +6 and you would destroy everything. There's nothing they could do about it. But nowadays, you know, it's been moved up to BL, which is fair enough. So I like to kind of, I mean, if you could use Gothitelle without shadow tag, I would probably still use it quite a lot in PU or NU. Maybe I'll say like, oh, I'm going to use Gothitelle, but I'm not going to bring this ability, so don't worry guys. Who knows. Now I go into Tentacool here predicting the sleep powder, and that's what happens luckily. Now I go into Liepard hoping he'd go for a sub, and then from there I can hopefully encore him into that. Now again, there was a bit of an issue here because I didn't actually realise at the time, but Jumpluff is also quicker than Liepard, and you know, I guess I just assumed that Liepard was quicker than everything, even though he's not, and apparently this Jumpluff isn't running max speed, so that's fine. Like I said, I'm not even running Prankster, I'm running the Limber ability. So in comes Metang, I go for a sub, and I think from here I decide I will just try and go for Swagger, Foul Play, all that kind of stuff. Oh no, I go for Encore. No, I predict the Bullet Punch there, and from there I was going to switch into maybe Gothitelle or something. No, that was why. But he goes for Earthquake, that's fine. I'm now going to switch out because if he goes for a Bullet Punch, that will out-prioritize me, and, well, I die to anything anyway, so better switch out. He does predict my switch here, goes for an Earthquake as opposed to the Bullet Punch, which is fine. That being said, Wormadam is not really too worried about what a Metang can do to it. It has, what, 300 or something defense, great typing, decent-ish moveset, and you know, although I can't do much to Metang, I'm going to be in the winning situation because I do have leftovers and I do have the chance to get the confusion with a Signal Beam. So I go for Signal Beam here. Doesn't do all that much, and I kind of think, well, this is going to take forever. So I switch out, go into the woman herself, Gothitelle, and now this is where the damage begins, my friends. Goes for a Meteor Mash, and I dodge it with my ninja reflexes. Go for a T-Wave, and you know what Gothitelle does. T-Wave, Calm Mind. I think at the time I had Dark Pulse and Psyshock. I kind of mess around with a few different movesets, but this was definitely one of the more successful ones. Amazing told me, Tommy, if you put Dark Pulse on here, you can go for flinches with the T-Wave for para-flinching as well. So I thought, yeah, that sounds like a good plan. So I go for a couple of Dark Pulses. Does a decent-ish chunk of damage, I guess, and you know, it turns out that Metang can actually do some decent damage to a max defense, max HP Gothitelle as well. That's unfortunate. But I take down Metang, which is fine because Metang is bulky as hell. Now in comes Simipour, and I almost went for T-Wave here, but then I thought, wait, doesn't Simipour like to carry Substitute? But it turns out he goes for Nasty Plot. That's fine. I don't know if he would have killed Gothitelle since I am at +1, and well, he probably has Hydro Pump, which would probably kill, but if he had something like Scold or Surf, maybe not, who knows. So I go for a Psyshock, and now I'm going to switch into my Tentacool just to sack it. I really don't care about Tentacool at this point. Hey, what a surprise! Tentacool doesn't live till the end. Who would have thought? So I go back into Liepard. Now I know for a fact that Liepard does outspeed Simipour, and go for a Foul Play. Take it out, that's fine. Foul Play definitely is... I mean, the number of Pokemon that got Foul Play from the Black and White 2 move tutors, I think Umbreon does get a lot of good use out of it as well. But it's definitely one of the most underrated moves in the game. Turning your opponent's attack stat against them, regardless of your own attack stat, is definitely something you can take good advantage of. So I'll bring in Wormadam here, and because Sork didn't outspeed me, that kind of confused me as to what item it would have. I thought maybe Expert Belt or something. But I go for a Toxic, and lo and behold, it turns out he's Lumberry, which is fine, that's understandable. But it does mean that Wormadam is definitely not impressed with this, and I probably should have gone for a Protect here just to stall for a bit more lefties or whatever, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Wormadam goes down, and the great thing is, because he isn't Choice Banded, or I guess Choice Scarf wouldn't make a difference in this situation, but I feel like Gothitelle can take any single attack, because the most powerful thing he can hit me with is an Earthquake. And from there, I can go for a T-Wave. He'd be stupid to switch out to Jumpluff at this point, because it would just take unnecessary damage, so he did make the right play staying in here. I can go for a Psyshock, take down the Sork because he's got minus defenses, and that would probably kill anyway. So now Gothitelle's in here, standing at a reasonable amount of HP, and now all he's got left is the Jumpluff. I think all I have left is Gothitelle, which is about to die to an Acrobatics, and Zangoose, I think is my last. Maybe Tentacool as well. No, Tentacool died, sorry. What am I thinking? So he has the Flying Gem, Acrobatics, probably Sword Stance, Jumpluff here, and the unfortunate thing is Jumpluff does outspeed Zangoose, so I gotta be careful how I do this. Now my Zangoose here, this was back before Toxic Boost Zangoose, and so my one just has like Sword Stance, Ice Punch, Close Combat, and some other attack. Now he goes for Sub and SD. That is very worrying because I kind of have to figure out a way to take this guy out. Now I do take out the Sub this turn, but the problem is Jumpluff definitely outspeeds, and +2 Acrobatics probably would kill Zangoose. However, my friends, you know and love Zangoose, you know what he does. I have the Feint and the Life Orb, and that's going to take him out from there. So that will be the game. Feint is kind of an interesting move. It's like Quick Attack, except it has more priority, so even if the other person is faster and they're going for, I don't know, Sucker Punch or Aqua Jet or whatever, you'll still outpace them because it's +2 priority as opposed to +1. So it's a pretty interesting move, especially on something like Persian, which can benefit from the Technician boost. But hope you all enjoyed, and with that being said, I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.